How can I prevent blossom rot on my tomatoes? What is this weed growing in my lawn? And how do I get rid of crabgrass more effectively? Folks, I have answers to these questions and more coming up on Garden Sense. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Folks, we have been really busy here with all the emails that you've been sending in, and given that it's now August, we are starting to get a lot of questions about overseeding. Now, in a couple of weeks, we're actually going to put together a nice overseeding video because there's actually a new process that we tested out last year on a couple of lawns, and I got to tell you, the results were amazing when it comes to overseeding your lawn and cutting down on the time and the amount of labor that you need to put into a project like that. So we think that's a video you guys are really going to want to watch. But as of right now, we're going to hold off on showing that until we get some products in that are actually going to aid in that process. Now, we did have 5 questions that we wanted to share with you here today. So buckle up, everybody, and let's jump right in. The first question is from Marissa. Hi, Tim. My question is, can I apply Kickstart now to my lawns to try and encourage green, healthy growth? So Kickstart is a great way to keep your grass green and your lawn healthy because it's a supplement designed specifically to work with Turf Trust lawn fertilizers. It will put in some nutrition into the soil, which obviously your grass is going to love. But in addition to that, it also helps the root system of your lawn take in more nutrition that's already found in the soil, take in more minerals, things like iron. It's also going to allow that plant to take in more of that nitrogen, that phosphorus, potassium that Turf Trust is putting into the soil. So yes, Kickstart is a great supplement to use in between feedings. Now, if you're regularly putting down Turf Trust on the schedule that we recommend 4 times a year, then you really only need to use Kickstart probably once or twice in between the feedings. However, we have clients where their soil isn't as good, and so they are actually using Kickstart as frequently as once a week or around once a month in some cases, again, just to allow that grass to really thrive, especially when the soil isn't that great. So yeah, head over to rosensonline.com, pick up some Kickstart, and start putting that down right now. Your lawn is going to thank you. The next question is from Chuck. Tim, can you please take a look at the attached pictures of a weed in my lawn? So this looks a lot like Japanese stilt grass, and I've actually been getting a bunch of questions about this weed because it really starts to thrive this time of year. So Chuck, what you want to do is actually head over to Rosens Online and pick up a bottle of Bio Advanced Extreme Crabgrass Killer. This is really effective against Japanese stilt grass. So head over there now, pick it up. All you need to do is connect it to a hose and spray down the area. Now, Japanese stilt grass can spread very quickly, and it can be a little bit tough to kill. So don't be surprised if it injures it pretty well the first time, but you need to put down a second application to really get rid of it. Obviously, you also want to, start working in dimension into your regular lawn maintenance schedule, again, to prevent that Japanese stilt grass from germinating and coming back year after year. So kill what you have with the Bio Advanced Extreme Crabgrass Killer, and then you're actually going to want to start putting down dimension this month really soon, again, assuming that you're not overseeding your lawn. So if you're not overseeding, put down dimension right now because stilt grass is actually going to start going to seed here really soon. Then again, in the spring, you want to make sure that you put down dimension again. So again, Extreme Crabgrass Killer right now, put down an application of dimension very soon, and then put down a second application of dimension, and just follow that pattern over the course of the next summer or two, and you should really be able to eradicate this Japanese stilt grass. The third question for today is from Sandra. Tim, planted a tomato plant beginning of the summer in a large pot on my patio. Gets plenty of sun and, when it rains, water. Have fed it with Garden Trust and Kickstart. The plant itself is huge, with indications of new blossoms all the time. However, I haven't been able to get any tomatoes that don't end up with blossom and rot. Help! So blossom rot is caused by a calcium deficiency. So really what it comes down to is your plant is obviously getting a ton of nutrition. It's growing really well. But again, there's just a slight imbalance in the calcium levels that it needs to produce that healthy tomato that you're hoping to harvest. So what I actually recommend is Rot Stop by Bonide. So head over to Rosen's online and check out Rot Stop. It's actually a supplement that you would use on the plant to help elevate those calcium levels, and that should really stop that blossom rot that you're experiencing. The fourth question is from Dennis. Tim, what's best to kill crabgrass? So there are a number of products that we have on our shelves that will help kill and control crabgrass. In terms of what I would recommend most, there's really two products right now. The first would probably be BioAdvance Extreme Crabgrass Killer. Now, I will tell you right now that we are running a little low on this product, and we've been running into some issues with BioAdvance in terms of getting orders fulfilled. So we've actually brought on a second product that really helps control crabgrass, and it's by Monterey, and it's called Crab E-Rad Plus. This is a really effective product for controlling crabgrass, as well as a number of other broadleaf weeds, grassy weeds, things like that. So again, head over to Rosen's online, and if we still have the BioAdvance product in stock, you can certainly pick one up. But if you need one specifically for a pump sprayer, again, depending on how large of an infestation you have of the crabgrass, I would really recommend you pick up Crab E-Rad Plus. It's a really effective product. We just started stocking it at Rosen's online, and we think you're really going to like it. The last question actually isn't even a question, but it is a comment that we wanted to share with you that we received this past week. Tim, see the pic for what Garden Trust did to a dud crepe myrtle. Thanks. So I realize that this was a little self-serving in terms of putting it up on the video podcast, but there's actually a reason behind it. And the reason is I wanted to just show you guys, again, the results that you can expect when you're using the right product, and that you're not wasting your time when you watch these videos, because we give advice that actually works. So here's what happened. Last year, this customer contacted me and said, hey, my crepe myrtle is looking terrible. They had planted it several years ago. They were feeding it with Plant Trust, and it just simply never took off. And in my email back to them, I said, hey, look, it's entirely possible that you just kind of got a dud plant when it was purchased from the nursery and you put it in. It just never really stood a chance because it just wasn't healthy then. The customer agreed, however. They said that they had noticed these shoots coming up from the ground from the root system of that crepe myrtle that they planted. So it was not on the main bulb, they were actually coming off. And they wanted to know if we should try to nurture those new shoots that were coming and kind of abandoned the initial tree that was planted. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Prune back what was dead or what they thought was dead, and let's focus on these new shoots. And hey, worst case scenario, it doesn't really work and you just need to buy a new crepe myrtle or something else to, plant as you pull this one out. So what they did is they started using Garden Trust, because again, Garden Trust is specifically formulated to enhance blooms, and it's something that crepe myrtles absolutely love. Plant Trust, although it's a fantastic product, was the wrong choice in this application. The next thing that we told them to do was to really watch their pruning. So as it was coming up, make sure that you are pruning it at the proper time, and that in combination with the Garden Trust, should really help that crepe myrtle start to thrive again, unless it was simply a dud plant. Well, fast forward 8-9 months, whatever it's been, and this is the result of those new shoots coming up. So again, was it a little self-serving? It was, but I just want all of our customers to understand that when we recommend a product, it's because we stand behind it, and because we don't want you to ever feel like you're wasting your time with these videos or sending in the questions. That we know what we're doing, and we want to give back the very best advice possible so that your garden will thrive. So Jim, thank you for sending in those pictures. And again, to any of you customers who have taken advice and have seen the results, whether it be because of the product or maybe a new process that we've recommended in terms of care, we love to hear that, and we'd be happy to share that with our audience. So Jim, keep up the good work. And again, thank you so much for the kind words and for sending in those pictures. All right, everybody, just a couple final thoughts before we wrap up this week's video podcast. Folks, I cannot emphasize it enough. Start using Kickstart on your lawns, on your gardens, on your trees, on your shrubs. It is a great way to help your lawn and all of your plants deal with the stress, specifically the heat stress, that usually comes about this time of year. We have been mentioning it for weeks, and obviously we talk a lot about Kickstart, and that's simply because it is such a versatile product and it will help all of your plants incredibly well. So head over to rosensonline.com and make sure you pick up Kickstart and start using it on your plants. This time of year with the heat, it is incredibly important for the long-term health of your grass, long-term health of your gardens, your trees, your shrubs, to use a product like Kickstart. Now, in addition to Kickstart, folks, I wanted to let you know that we have actually started the transition to some newer products that we are beginning to bring in. I'll be perfectly blunt with you. We have been having some struggle with products by Bonide and products by BioAdvance, just to name two well-known companies, because they are really shifting their focus and their business is aligning a lot more with the big box stores of the world, the Walmarts of the world, the Lowe's of the world, and the lowly garden centers like us simply aren't getting the attention, and we aren't getting orders fulfilled in a timely manner. So we've actually begun, and this process started a while ago, to be perfectly blunt, of transitioning out some products and bringing in some new products that we know by personal experience or through recommendations that work really, really well. So in the coming weeks and months, and certainly as we look to next year, we're going to start to scale back some of those BioAdvance and Bonide products in favor of products by Fertilome or VPG, products by Monterey. Now, I'm not saying that all of the products are going away, but again, unfortunately, BioAdvance and Bonide, again, just to name two, have become increasingly difficult for these smaller garden centers to work with. And unfortunately, it's not just us. We know a lot of people in the industry, and this is an industry-wide phenomenon that's going on right now, unfortunately. So again, we are doing our research, we're getting our recommendations, and we're talking with a lot of different companies about bringing in different products, kind of on a trial basis to see how it works. But some of these products we have used in the past. We know they work really well. And again, as I said earlier in my video, we are only going to recommend a product if it's something that we can stand behind. So as you start to see some products turn over, I want you guys to just understand that that's really what's happening, is we are making a conscious decision to transition away from companies that really don't appear to want to do business with us in favor of some companies that we're really excited to get our calls and really want to do business with us. And I promise you, there will be no loss in terms of the overall quality of the products that we are recommending. And again, don't worry, our core products like Turf Trust, Kickstart, Dimension, Gallery, all the things that we talk about a lot, those manufacturers aren't going anywhere. We have an amazing working relationship with them. And again, I don't see that changing anytime soon. Now, I did make a mention of it earlier in the video. In the next week or two, we are actually going to put up our, we'll call it, annual overseeding video. This is, again, where we're going to give you some step-by-step instructions on how to overseed your lawn. The difference is that this year's video is going to be a slightly different process because we actually tested out a process that was recommended to us by a landscaping company last year. So we actually tested this process out, and it worked incredibly, incredibly well. It saved a ton of time, and it wasn't nearly as labor intensive. Now, it's, again, you still have to do work, you still are overseeding, but it really cut down on the time and, again, the overall labor that we had to put into the process, and that's great for everybody. So again, we'll be sending out an email when that video is ready to go. We are working on just kind of collecting that process and formalizing it, but again, we were absolutely amazed at how well this process worked. Again, we did this for a couple of lawns last fall. So again, we never recommend you try something unless it's something that we've tried ourselves. This worked amazingly well, and we just wanted to share it with you. Folks, as always, if you have questions or comments, maybe would like to share in some of your successes with your garden, please make sure that you send us an email directly to me, tim@rosensonline.com. If I receive it, I promise I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Folks, as always, we really appreciate all of the emails. We really appreciate all the time that you give us each and every week to watch these videos. I hope that all of you have an amazing rest of the week. God bless.